Last question I have for you. Was this a good bye week for the Chiefs?
Like in terms of like
results? It's that football show here on KC Sports. I'm Tucker Franklin hanging out with Matt Verderame, recapping your Week 10 action across the NFL. Obviously, still one game to go with Monday Night Football. We're recording this after the Chargers beat down the Steelers. So the Chargers moved to a very advantageous position for them in the AFC West. Matt, how was your Sunday? How was everything for your weekend?
My Sunday was better than if I was a player of the Bills. It was woof. My Sunday was fine. My Sunday was good. I sat here. I got up for the Berlin game. I watched Michael Penix Jr. murder the sport of football.
Right.
I watched Raheem Morris murder the sport of football.
Yes.
And I watched Jonathan Taylor rush for 244 yards, and somehow that was barely enough to win in overtime. In a game that both made me believe in the Colts and also made me kind of like reaffirm my priors on the Colts that I don't know, man. I think if you hold Jonathan Taylor under like $120, Daniel Jones, like it's not great.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, sat here and watched football all day long. The Seahawks were up 38-0 in the second quarter on the Cardinals. That was what I love how like that happened right after they benched Kyler Murray and put all their eggs in that basket, and then it was like, oh, guess what? 38-0.
Yeah.
Great.
That game ended up 44-22, right? I don't know if you saw this, but the scoreigami account tweeted out that that was a scoreigami, and that score actually happened twice today. Yeah, not like that score happened. Yeah, happened 44-22 happened twice today, and also 2 other times in the NFL. So it was just like straight up wrong in its equation or whatever like the bot uses.
Stupid things, bullshit.
Yeah, I mean that's what again nerds like to watch football.
This is what happens when you let people who like math get involved.
Exactly.
I mean, we saw what happened to the sport of baseball. Right? When all these people got involved, and all of a sudden it was a terrible thing if you got a single. Like all these nerds are like, who sucks? Tony Gwynn. That's who sucks. Because my guy is Joey Gallo. He hits 40 homers and hit for $140 that season. Great, thanks. But yeah, the nerds ruin everything. Scoreigami wrong, which is a disaster on their part.
It is.
Wasn't scoreigami in Carolina, but speaking of a disaster, nice game against the Saints. As Tyler Shuck just lit up Carolina, and Bryce Young just is terrible.
Yeah, that was a hilarious result, and that, obviously everyone who listens to this podcast, familiar with the podcast, knows that I root for hilarious results, and that like was a very hilarious result of like that. What could have had like everything that happened in that game was the funniest thing possible. It's like Bryce Young looking so bad. The Carolina Panthers like to make note every time they have the same record as the Chiefs, right? And it's been a few times this year that they've had the same record because Carolina's kind of miraculously been over 500. Now they are 500 at 5-5, but they go and lay a stinker against the Saints. Holy cow, so bad.
They stink. Also a team that stinks, but one. The Jets beat the Browns in a game that should have been put in prison.
The
Jets had 14 points before they touched the ball offensively.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a kickoff return and a punt return for touchdowns. Justin Fields, want to take a guess how many yards he threw for today?
Oh, gosh. They scored like, 27 points? That was 27-20? Yeah, probably had a few hundred, a couple hundred, maybe 200 and 200 and so.
I feel about 54 yards with a touchdown to pick.
That feels about right for Justin Fields, actually. I overshot it, I will say.
If you adjust for Jets, then the Fields did throw for about $180. I mean, only the Jets win a game where the guy throws for 54 yards. So they basically averaged half a point for every yard that he threw. 54 yards. And Breece Hall, by the way, this is the funniest part of this whole box score. Breece Hall had a 42-yard touchdown reception, which means that the rest of the team caught 5 passes for 12 yards the entire day. And they scored 27 points to beat the Browns.
Awesome.
Yep. So the Browns suck.
Yeah, we talked about that game on Friday's episode of if you looked at the broadcast map, it's because it was only in New York and Cleveland were the two places they were airing it. And thank goodness I had Sunday tickets so where I could watch that calamity of a football game. But there's some pretty stinker results in the noon slate.
We've talked about Saints Titans.
Yeah.
We are sleeping on Browns Titans, which happens in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And that game's in Cleveland. I might see if SI will send me with a credential.
Why?
I don't know. To go to sleep.
See it firsthand.
Yeah. It's like watching a horror movie, but just,
right.
A few thousand feet up. Look, that game, let's see what ESPN says. ESPN says that game, wow, dead even. ESPN says each team's got a 49% shot of winning it.
We might have to go. That might actually have to be the game we go live for.
That is a rancid football game.
Totally awful.
People might be catching on that the common denominator here is Tennessee.
Yes.
No,
who was on bye this week? The teams on bye this week, actually, just a bunch of juggernauts. The Bengals, the Titans, the Cowboys, and the Chiefs. Just a bunch of juggernauts.
By the way, that day we want to go live, we can, because the Chiefs play Sunday night.
Oh, buddy.
We want to go Titans, Cam Ward, Dylan Gabriel. Look out. And we might get weather because it's December 7th in Cleveland. And they haven't completely just gone full disgrace yet by going indoors in Cleveland. So we might get a real hullabaloo there in Cleveland.
That could be something, because that might make up for the Week 17 game where I'll be on an airplane when that's happening.
Dude, you can buy tickets for Cleveland, Tennessee for $13.
You don't even have to need a credential. You can get into that game on your own time.
I can walk in. They're not going to stop me.
You go right through security. I mean, there's no shot. They're probably giving away tickets to that game.
Oh my God. By the way, so we're talking about all this shit, but let's not overlook the biggest tire fire of the day, or most hilarious game of the day, depending on your perspective of it, which is the Bills fans. Look, I saw Bills Mafia all week long tweeting out how they're taking over South Florida. It's a home game, and they're flying banners over the stadium. This is the Bills territory. Well, as it turns out, the Bills went down to Miami and didn't score a point for 3 quarters and lost 30-13. The funny thing in that game is, like, I watched most of it. Tua threw 2 of the worst interceptions you'll ever see in your life, as Tua does.
Yeah.
With a league-leading 13 picks. He's just rolling. He and Gino are in it. And Gino are in like whatever the hell the opposite would be of like the Sosa McGuire home run chase in 98. That's what Gino and Tua are doing right now. Like, they should start. You know how great it'd be if like in baseball you always have the out of town scoreboard, right?
Right. Yeah.
If they did like an out of town scoreboard in every NFL stadium for Gino Tua, and they just had the interception total, and then like they updated, of course, like in real time. Like, Tua threw a pick, and the place just erupts, like when Sosa and McGuire were hitting homers. They start putting it on the board. I think we need that. That's what we need, like Arizona, when all of a sudden, like in some lifeless bullshit game between like the Cardinals and the Giants, like they're showing a play and Kenny Albert's like, pick up a 5 by DeMercado, and then there's this explosion of noise, like, and I was like, my God, Tua's throwing his 4th pick. And it's absolute pandemonium in Arizona. It's the first time anyone's been excited for anything in a decade.
Right.
That's what we need. But to get back to the point, so Tua throws 2 just medicine balls up into the air.
Right.
They get picked off. And somehow the Bills can't take advantage of this because Allen throws a pick in the end zone. He runs for 15 yards on a quarterback sneak and then fumbles.
Yeah, right.
And then James Cook fumbles at like right around like the 20-ish yard line. But by the way, the ball got batted around for 15 yards, so Miami finally fell on their own 5-yard line. The game was abjectly horrendous. And the Dolphins won by 17 points, averaging 7 yards a play. Like, Achane just went just postal on Buffalo. And if I can pull the numbers up quick, rush for
174.
Thank you. 174, 2 touchdowns on 22 carries. Keon Coleman had 3 catches for 46 yards and a touchdown, which on a normal day, like, oh, Keon Coleman showed up. 8 targets.
Woof.
Woof. Okay. So, yeah, that's where we are with the Buffalo Bills, who looked like world beaters against the Chiefs because, as you were pointing out earlier, it is their Super Bowl, as it is every year.
Yes.
And then a full-on pants filling down in South Florida.
That's the only thing that makes sense, right? That is a Super Bowl hangover. Look, not every team is built to go to a couple Super Bowls, win a couple of them, right? Like, not every team is built to go back-to-back and win their Super Bowls. I get it. There's obviously you're going to have a little bit of a letdown after the Super Bowl, and it happens to the best of teams. And not to the Chiefs a couple of years ago when they won back-to-back Super Bowls, but it happens to. I understand. I get it, but it was very clear that when the Bills are not playing the Kansas City Chiefs, they suck. And like this is kind of the same thing that happens whenever I watch the Jacksonville Jaguars play football. It just makes me so frustrated. Like, how the hell did the Chiefs lose to this football team? That's a little bit of how I was feeling watching this game. But then it just made me realize it's like, oh, the Bills like completely sold out for that to win that football game for them. It's like that they put everything that they had into winning that football game. Now are they 2 games back in their division? With 1 game dropped to the team that is in first place in the Patriots when they still have to play them again, but they're not in a great spot to win their division.
No, they were not. They're not in a great spot. And it's made worse by the fact that New England basically plays like Ball State in 5 of their last 7 games.
It's jitters to Ball State, actually.
Ball State should file a lawsuit for slander. They play the Jets twice. The Dolphins at home last week of the year when the Dolphins, oh man, it's going to be 10 degrees. They're going to want to leave the locker room and protest. It's going to be amazing. And then you've got the Giants at home on a Monday night and the Bengals. Those are 5 of their 7 games remaining. New England's winning that division.
Yeah.
Okay. Which means the Bills will be a wild card, and that'll be interesting in its own ways. But that's where we are right now with what is just a flat-out disaster of a situation. If you're the Bills, man, there is nothing worse. You just won that game against Kansas City, and you're like, we're rolling now, boys.
This is it. Our year.
Like, A-plus game. Kansas City's in the rear view. Here we come. It's Tua. Not a problem. No. Blown out. Like, just a disaster of a loss. And like the kind of loss that really makes you question, like, is this team even like good? Like it's one thing, look, as bad as it still would have been. Had they have lost in some ridiculous game where you're like, the Dolphins it was a horseshoe up the ass type of a game. All right. Like, I'll give you, in fact, actually, I remember distinctly. A couple of years ago, these teams played in Miami early in the year. It was 2022. Buffalo outgained Miami in that game 497 to 212. 31 first downs to 15, had 40 minutes and 40 seconds of possession time. The Dolphins converted 3 first downs, and the Dolphins won 21-19. Like, that the Bills ran 90 plays in that game. Like, that's the kind of game, if you're the Bills, you're like, I don't know how the hell we lost that game, but like, what are you going to do? Like, we're clearly better. It was a fluke.
Yeah.
You kind of got your ass beat by the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Mildly disconcerting.
Yeah. Well, let's not forget about the other game that they had against the Dolphins this year, where the Dolphins had a very real shot to win it, like at the very end of the game. I know it ended up being 31-21 was that the final score. It's like a 10-point game, but it was a lot closer than what the scoreboard dictated. Speaking of that, I saw some people on Twitter saying that, like, hey, Josh Allen played kind of good though. Like, Josh Allen, this tweet says Josh Allen hooped today. I don't know. I don't care what anyone says. Josh Allen played well. And that's because, some random scrub on Twitter that I had to reply to because I was like,
does that person have the gift of sight?
Well, no, because they probably just looked at the box score. Because if you look at the box score, it's like, oh, okay, he threw for, let's see, I had it pulled up here. He threw for 306 on 28 of 40. That's not great. But had 2 touchdowns and a pick. Only sacked 3 times, 70% completion percentage. So he probably played pretty well. It looks like he played pretty well. But if you watch the fucking games, which people have stopped doing, Matt. Yeah. People have stopped watching football games and they just go and look at a box score and be like, oh, he played well. It's so ridiculous when we go and break this all down too, because we talk about Josh Allen and the difference between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and a lot of these teams that keep winning games. I think I brought this up with Bo Nix too. People will look at Bo Nix's box score, which are never really good, and they'll be like, oh, well, they will trick themselves into thinking that the numbers are telling them something other than what they're seeing, or if they're probably not even seeing it, or they'll trick themselves into thinking the numbers are good. But here's the thing with the Broncos and the Chiefs, and this even kind of sometimes goes back to the Bills as well, is the Chiefs last year were, I really kind of think this year's Chiefs team is better than last year's Chiefs team, and they were winning games because of their quarterback. The Broncos this year are winning games in spite of their quarterback, because, and I think that's good. This was one of the things is like, it doesn't show up on the stat sheet. That's why you have to watch the fucking games. Patrick Mahomes is a lot better when you watch the game. Like maybe his stat line doesn't show 306 yards, 28 of 40, but he doesn't fumble the ball. He doesn't fumble a ball in a really bad spot. He doesn't throw an interception in the end zone, or if he does, it's a pick six for 99 yards and a touchdown against the Jags, but we don't talk about that. It's some of those things where people miss out on like some of the finer details of quarterback play when they're just looking at a box score and be like, oh, he played really well today because he had 300 yards passing. And sometimes I feel like, well, not sometimes. I feel like we've lost the plot when it comes to quarterback play of people just looking at numbers and being like, well, no, he played good because look, he has a 306. It's 306, Matt. That's good. Like that's really good. But he scored 13 points on the road against a Miami defense that is absolutely horrid and putrid.
Yeah, look, I mean, that's why this whole conversation about like Josh Allen's MVP favorites. Like, does anyone watch Josh Allen this year?
Right.
Like, and listen, I understand the whole like, look what's around him. I'm not even arguing that point. What's around him is flat out bullshit. Like, no argument. Okay. Like, but at the same point, let's be real about this. They can run the ball. They have a great offensive line. Cool. Not getting, by the way, he's now 5th in the MVP race on FanDuel. Mahomes is 4th. Drake May and Matthew Stafford have taken that man.
I was going to say, Drake May should probably be the MVP frontrunner right now.
So that's where we are with that. But in any event, like Allen is not, he's not been awful, but he's not the MVP of the league. It's not even close. Right. Like Matthew Stafford would have my vote, but I think May is the other. Yeah, I think that's right. And then Jonathan Taylor's no shot in hell.
He's not a quarterback.
Yeah, come on. He's not even on pace to rush for 2,000 yards. He's not doing that.
Yeah.
But like the discourse around Buffalo is one of the weirdest things. I follow a lot of people in Buffalo because I'm friends with a lot of people who cover the team and are on the radio up there and all stuff. Yeah. And I think those people do an excellent job. But by proxy of that, I also get in the For You tab on Twitter just a bunch of these people who are like not just random people on Twitter, but like are kind of random people on Twitter. Like they just have like 20,000 followers and they're like, I think this. And then, you know, like it becomes a thing. Every one of them almost to a man was like, Josh Allen should be furious. Like Brandon Beane is failing Josh. It's like, how about this? How about Josh Allen just goes out and doesn't turn the ball over twice and beats the fucking Dolphins? How about that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. That's like if we sat here, if the Chiefs had lost to the Giants in week 3, and I was like, what is Mahomes supposed to do? How can he win this game? Like, I don't give a shit if he's throwing the ball to Juju and Tyquan Thornton. I don't care. If you're that little, first of all, okay, Mahomes won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago with guys who were actively plotting against him. It was one of the most unbelievable things you'll ever see in your life. people don't know what that was like if they didn't watch that on a week in a week out basis. Like a lot of people, just to your point, they don't even watch the games.
No.
And then they just tune in the playoffs and they're like, oh, the Chiefs. Like, yeah, back to who they are. It's like, no, you have no idea.
Right.
Okay, go catch the Christmas Day game from that year. Like that. I mean, Christmas is my favorite day of the year. That ruined Christmas.
Oh yeah.
I almost walked out into traffic after that game. But hell, actually, if I remember, I almost walked out into traffic during the halftime of that game.
Yeah, it was bad. The first half was brutal.
I just want to wait for the second half.
Jack Jones' pick was awful.
Back defensive was insane.
Yeah.
But the point is, look, the Bills are a good football team. They're not a great team. They looked like a great team against Kansas City because the Chiefs basically looked like they were in a coma for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
But like we made this point on the show last week. That's kind of what we're talking about. The Bills couldn't have played a better game against the Chiefs. It's impossible. Could not have played any better.
Yeah.
The Chiefs had the ball down 7 with 5 minutes left, and the Chiefs were actively betting on the Bills' money line for 60 minutes. Like, I know this sounds like a homer thing, but I really believe it. If the Chiefs see them in the playoffs, they will kick their ass. Like, I really...
Right.
Hey, look, if I'm wrong, all the credit in the world to the Bills. Who knows? Maybe they didn't play each other. But, like, I have no reason to think this Bills team is good. None. Like, what? Because they beat Kansas City? Because it was like they got up. I know you say it's their Super Bowl. I won't go that far because if it was the Bills Super Bowl, they wouldn't win it. But
that's a great point.
You know, but it's great. Like, it's just like, yeah, great. You got up for your one big rival, and you kind of like, you know, it's like money at the blackjack table. Like you shot your wad on one hand.
Yep.
And then you went and played Miami, who you should borderline be able to like sleep against and beat.
Mm-hmm.
And you just got killed. So it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, you're good, you're fine. But yeah, and by the way, it's not just the Chiefs. If they play the Ravens, I think the Ravens will smoke them.
Yeah.
I think Kansas City would smoke them in a playoff game. I don't know that I'd go as far as to say that I think Indianapolis would smoke them. I do think they'd beat them.
Mm.
But, like, the other teams are so hard to say because it's so unproven. Like the Colts, the Pats, like, I don't know. But the Ravens and the Chiefs, I think, would smoke, which is bad news for the Bills because I think they might get the Ravens in the first round of the playoffs. So,
yeah, we'll see either one of them probably.
Which, by the way, if that happens, people's heads are going to explode because the narratives are going to clash so hard for some of these people. It's not Lamar's fault. Well, it's not Allen's fault either. Well, guess what? It's going to be somebody's fucking fault at high noon. So settle in. No matter how it plays out, it's hilarious. Like, no matter what happens, it's funny. Yeah. You know, like either Allen wins and it's like, oh my God, like the Ravens did all this to get back in the playoffs and they just lost at home in the wild card round.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Ravens win. And now, like, the Bills didn't even win a playoff game.
Yeah.
And you're like, where do you go from here? And I already know the storyline. But fire McDermott. Fuck, okay, great. Well, I mean, that's nice. They're still throwing to Keon Coleman. So you can fire him all you want. But somebody's got to call a pass play to Keon Coleman. Sorry.
Yeah. Remember when, I don't think Xavier Worthy's been like phenomenal, right? But they're like, oh yeah, we didn't need Xavier Worthy. We got Keon Coleman. And they started to do that and they started getting behind him because he said funny stuff in videos sometimes when he was going around and he's like, oh, that room's cold.
Yeah, and it's like,
buys his jackets at JCPenney or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people are like, he's so awesome.
Yeah. Like Xavier Worthy to this point has been a good player. He's not been a great player, but he's been a good player.
Yeah.
He is Jerry Rice compared to Keon Coleman. Okay. Like, I don't think that's an overstatement. By the way, I saw this quote from Greg Rousseau. It's just the big, if a Chief said this, I kill the guy for an hour on the show. Greg Rousseau, quote, this is per Joe Shad, by the way, of the
Joe.
Palm Beach Post. Quote, it's different playing in the heat because we don't really do it that often. Not making an excuse. I got to tell you, sounds like a fucking excuse.
Man.
And also, too, like, buddy, it was 85 degrees with like no humidity. Like warm, but let's not make it out like it was hitting triple digits. And also, I don't care if you're playing on the surface of the sun. You're playing the Dolphins. Like, come on, man. That's like if the Dolphins, which God knows I'm sure they've done over the years, like, well, you know, it's cold out.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, I got bad news. You're going to play some games in cold weather. It's going to happen. Like, for the Bills, like, boy, thank God Miami's not making the playoffs. I hate to see if the Bills had to go down to 77-degree weather down in Palm Beach or in South Florida in January. Like,
that's a great point.
That's so, bro. Just own it. Just own it.
I'm trying to see if Pro Football Reference has a temperature split on their. It doesn't look like it. That's too bad. But in January, obviously, Tua's not good in January. 1-3 all time for games in January. I guess it's just regular season games in January. But I'm not seeing a temperature advanced split. Maybe I have to go to the advanced splits. But I was very curious to what it would be because there are still players on that Dolphins team that came to Kansas City when that game was like that really cold game in the divisional round that are still complaining about it. There are players out there still doing podcasts saying about how cold that game was.
Listen, I can honestly say I am a born and bred pessimist. I've always been that way because my teams beat that into me as a child. Okay, I just the Chiefs can win 20 Super Bowls, and I will always expect them to lose to the Titans. Like, it's just, even though I just sat here and was like, yeah, if they play the Bills again, I think they'll kick their ass in the playoffs. And like the analyst in me really does believe that. The fan in me, sheer terror. Just if every team they ever play, I'm just always terrified.
Right.
Even though the analyst in my brain is like, nah, they're just better. That was one of the few games, like a meaningful game. I saw the weather report and was like,
oh, yeah,
game's over.
Mm-hmm.
There's no. And then they came into the game. I was supposed to cover that game for Sports Illustrated, and I could not get there because Iowa had like an emergency.
They shut down the interstate. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get there. So I had to go home, and I was bummed out. I'm like, all right, I'll watch from the house. And NBC did that game, and they came in, and they showed Mahomes and Kelsey like screaming at each other, like banging their heads together on the sideline. And then they showed Mike McDaniel literally wearing about 12 jackets. I was like, this game is over.
Yeah.
Like, there is no way in hell Miami is winning this football game. And they didn't disappoint. I've never seen a team on to have a playoff game faster. If the Dolphins could have had a running clock in that game, that's great. Doesn't matter. We're down 20. Awesome. Let's go on a running clock. Like, it was like, and then at one point, like Melissa Stark, I think it was on the sideline, made a point of like, the Dolphins brought like 3,000 pounds of cold weather gear. I'm like, oh, this is over.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Oh my God. Trey Smith's out there without sleeves. Like, this game's done. This is, I mean, I understand it's like abnormally cold. I get it.
Yeah.
I don't care where you're from. But that's another thing that kills me too, is like, you hear like, oh, the Miami Dolphins. It's not like all these guys are from Miami.
True.
Like, some of these damn guys are from Wisconsin. Like, come on. Get out there and play some football. Yeah, but I don't know. It's just funny. It's funny how it works. But in any event, yeah, apparently 85 degrees for Craig Rousseau was basically like playing, on like in an oven.
Yeah.
And so the Bills just couldn't hack it.
Too hot to handle. All right, we're going to take a break. There's other things I want to talk about at the AFC East. I want to talk about the Patriots. Had a big win over the Buccaneers today. I think that they're in a conversation where we should start talking about them as a team. We talked a little bit about their schedule, but we'll talk about them here in a little bit. But first, you guys already know I got to call all Chiefs fans. You could be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. Enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pre-game coin toss. Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't go anywhere. We will be back right after this to talk more Week 10 NFL action, recapping everything that happened. Chiefs.
Just a short drive from Kansas City. Experience the history, the heritage, and the bourbon at Holiday Distillery. Tour Missouri's oldest distillery, where real Missouri bourbon is made the old-fashioned way. Walk the grounds, taste the tradition, and take home a bottle of something special. Make the trip, sip the story. Holiday Distillery, Weston, Missouri. Book your tour at holidaydistillery.com.
I had a loose broker owner, Casey Local Homes, and Emprise Bank has been a great partner for us. They're our partner in Possible. Debbie and I hit it off immediately, and she was one of the first bankers that I would say sat down with me and actually like genuinely cared about my story and where I was coming from and what I was trying to do, not just what kind of loan do you need, how much equity do you have, and she really kind of laid out my options for me and just made the process make sense, and I felt comfortable with it. Start to talk about it and think about it, a building popped up that I wanted, that I could afford, and it was in a great area. And so they really guided me through the SBA. I used the SBA loan to acquire it and really guided me through that process and made it happen. I think that we talk about that a lot, where we wouldn't have a business. We wouldn't have what we have here if we didn't have the clientele that we do. I've always functioned out of a people over profits mentality. The houses sell themselves, right? Like, I'm here to help people and facilitate the transaction for them.
Chiefs Kingdom, what is your favorite touchdown? By now, you guys already know that my favorite touchdown is the next one, because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. From first touchdown score to anytime touchdown props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. You want spreads? They got it. Over-unders? DraftKings got you covered. Same-game parlays, regular parlays? DraftKings has it, and you need it. And here's the best part. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN for new customers to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. I started to try to make a running list as the day was going on, Matt, of like things I wanted to talk about, right? One of those was about the New England Patriots, because they beat a pretty good Buccaneers team, a team that, Matt, you and I both agreed is a team contending for the NFC Championship, a team that was going to be very good on the NFC side of things. Yes. They pull out a win. Thoughts on them and how they've performed? Travion Henderson has a big day for them. He finally comes around. They finally give him the ball, I guess, if he stopped fumbling it. But overall thoughts on the Patriots, and we already talked a little bit about their schedule. They haven't had the hardest schedule this year so far, but they're doing the best what they got.
I gotta give it to New England. I mean, up until this game, I think you could make the argument like, look, they push play nobody.
Yeah.
And whatever, they'll play a good team, they get smoked. I expect them to lose this game. I didn't expect them to get killed, but I thought they'd lose the game like 27, like 21 or something. Mm-hmm. To their credit, they found, and they did it with a lot of big plays. Like, that was kind of the way they did. Kyle Williams had like a 70-yard touchdown, which was just an out route that the Buccaneers just turned loose for a 70-yard touchdown.
Right.
Mac Hollins caught a really big pass on 3rd and like 14 for 56 yards late in the game. Travion Henderson just busted a run just untouched for like 7
inside zone or something like that.
I mean, it was kind of an odd game in the sense you're like, okay, well, I mean, if you have 3 plays like that, you're probably going to win the game.
Yeah.
But listen, give New England credit. They played well defensively. They held the Bucs down to 23 points, and 7 of that was kind of in garbage time. It's a big win. I don't know what to make of New England in the sense that there's a part of me that's just like, May's playing great football. Mm-hmm. I certainly believe in the coaching staff. And, defensively, Christian Gonzalez is a great corner. They've got some guys up front who are good players. There's also a part of me that's like, I don't know that I fully believe in them against like a real, like a real heavyweight team.
That's fair.
In a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe in them to the point that I think they are a legitimately good football team. Like, I don't think it's a schedule bullshit. They're a real team. Like, if I'll say this, let's say they're the 2 seed and they play the Chargers in the opening. Well, I expect them to beat them.
Yeah.
You know, like, I expect them to beat the Chargers, to win against Denver at home. To, like, although Denver might be a bad match because one thing New England cannot do is block. That might actually be a nightmare. But, like, the Chargers are like, if they play Pittsburgh or something, like, I would expect New England, and I don't know if they lost Pittsburgh because they turned it over 5 times. I would expect them to win that game. So, you know, hey, listen, to the Pats' credit, seems like they've got it going again, man. May's really good. Vrabel's a good coach. Not to tie it back to the first segment, but this might be the Bills' worst nightmare of all time.
It'd have to be, right?
Like, they finally got rid of New England. Then Kansas City just beats them every year when it matters. And now Kansas City and New England have just teamed up to be like, you know what? We're just going to be good for 15 more years. And it's an absolute disaster. But in any event, no, I give them a lot of credit. It's a big win. If you're Tampa, like, you're going to win the division.
Yeah.
Whatever. But, you know, you could have gotten to 7-2. Like, that conference is wide open seeding-wise.
Man.
You know? So that's where that hurts, is the seeding more than it. Like, Tampa's going to win their division. It's just, like, where do you seed into it?
Yeah. Drake made 270 for him today on 16 of 31 passing. Trayvon Henderson had 147 yards on the ground with 2 touchdowns for him. That long of on 69 was his touchdown run. Nice little run for him. I saw that. That run was just like, all of a sudden it just opened and you're just like, oh, there's no one there. Like, there's that blocked up. Really.
It was unbelievable. I kept waiting for like a safety to fill. I'm like, no, he's not going to.
Like, there's nobody else there. Like, it was just like really blocked up well. So let's look at kind of the standings right now in the playoff picture, because I just pulled up the standings, Matt, and do you know everyone in the AFC North has a negative point differential?
I did. That's hilarious.
Yeah, -8 point differential for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They currently lead the division right now at 5-4. The Ravens are 4-5 with a -6 point differential. The Bengals have a -84 point differential, and the Browns have a -65 point differential.
I mean, and to be fair, I mean, the Bengals point differential is only negative because they've given up 2,000 points.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bengals just scored another touchdown and yet are down by 10.
They have 300 points against in 10 games.
Oh, my God. And they 9 games.
9 games, sorry, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Dude, they have the worst point differential in the AFC except for the Titans.
Man, yeah.
And in the NFC, the only team that's worse is New Orleans.
That's also, yeah. No, you don't want to be held up in regard with those two franchises. I mean, have they given up the most points? It'd be.
Oh yeah, they have to. 300.
300 is. Yes,
oh yeah, nobody's even
that
touching that. The Commanders are 280, but they played an extra game.
That's insane. That's so bad.
The Chiefs have only given up 159.
Really? Yeah. Yeah. 76 point differential. They actually lead the AFC West in point differential, and
they lead the whole AFC except for Indianapolis.
That's insane. And they are
better than them for Indianapolis, Detroit by 7 points, and then the Seahawks and the Rams. So the Chiefs are 5th best in point differential.
And the 3rd best in their division right now in ranking standings.
They're like actually winning games, yes.
Yeah, at winning football games. Playoff picture right now. It is kind of fun. They've started to throw up the playoff picture, right? And like the broadcast, right? You get the in the hunt section, then you get like the wild card. Chiefs in the hunt section.
A lot of in the hunt for the Chiefs this year.
Lots of in the hunt. Yes.
All being Super Bowl favorites in every book, which is just the funniest possible outcome for this season is they just get a 7 seed and they just annihilate everybody. But if you look at the AFC. If you really look at the conference, and like obviously we're so far out, like it's impossible to really know. If they're the 7th seed, and I said to you, their path to the Super Bowl at Indy, at New England, at Baltimore, you can't probably do it, right? Like
I think, yeah.
You know, I mean. Also, the funniest thing would be if it was like at New England, at Indianapolis, and then it was at Buffalo, and they just killed them.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Just smoked them. Like, all right. But the AFC is so upside down this year in the sense that, like, the teams that are going to be lowest, like Baltimore, Kansas City, Buffalo, everyone's going to expect them to win these games. And then the teams that are highest, which, could be Denver and, Indianapolis and New England, people are like not going to know whether they should believe in them or not.
Right.
Whole thing. But anyway, go ahead about the playoff picks.
I think it is really interesting when you look at it. The wild card teams right now are the Chargers, Bills, and Jags, which the Jaguars,
That's not going to happen.
We haven't talked about that game yet, but boy, howdy.
Yeah, we're going to get there.
92% playoff percent probability for the Colts to make it. 91% for the Broncos, by the way, too. I don't know. Have you seen the tweet going around about winning the division percent chance going on? Like if the Broncos win the game on Sunday, they have like a 97% chance. Yeah, but if the Chiefs win it, they become division favorites, which is also hilarious. Because this will be their third division game this year, right?
This will be the Chiefs. They're information I'm right. Yes, third.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, because they'll have to play the Broncos twice, the Chargers once, and then the Raiders to end out the season. Yep. Man, the Steelers currently are the 4 seed in the AFC, and according to NFL.com, have a 39% chance to make the playoffs in general. And they're the 4 seed right now. They're a division leader because they are giving the Ravens a 73% chance to win to make the playoffs and win the division. I think the Ravens right now are the odds-on favorite to win that division, which is how their schedule shapes up and everything. And the Steelers look horrid, dude. The Steelers look so bad.
The Steelers are what we call around these parts super mega ass.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're not good. I mean, right now as we're sitting here, everything is just completely up in the air. Like the Chiefs are the 8 seed, which is not a thing in the NFL. Okay,
true.
As sitting here, the Athletic gives the Chiefs 76% odds to make the playoffs, 23% to win the division. The Chargers are 31, the Broncos are 46. However, if the Chiefs, pull this up right here. Okay, if the Chiefs win this game against Denver, their chances to win the division go to 38%. If they lose, they go down to 7%.
Yeah, right.
All right. So and if the Chiefs if they sweep Denver, then they're the odds-on favorite to win the division. It's not even close. So that's what this is all about here. Like we can sit here and talk about all these other games with the Chiefs and everything. None of this crap matters. If they beat Denver on Sunday, I know that in the stands, they're still a game and a half back and they're a game back in the loss. They control their own destiny at that point.
Yeah.
If they'll have to beat Denver at home, but all right, fine. And listen, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I think Denver's going to lose a few games. Denver, credit to them. They're winning games because their defense is really good.
Yep.
And to take that away from them is not fair. Their defense is really, really good. And they're winning games because they're getting a ton of pressure on the quarterback and they're kicking ass up front. At the same point, they are needing borderline divine intervention to beat the Raiders and the Titans and the Jets and the Giants all at home. Okay.
Right.
I'm going to go out and say, I don't think they're going to beat the Packers. I don't if the Chiefs, now this is the biggest if known to mankind. If the Chiefs are awake and play well, I don't think they're beating the Chiefs in either game.
Yeah.
I would also tell you, I think Broncos-Chargers in Week 18 at Denver has the chance to be the funniest playoff game ever witnessed. Anything's on the Herbert's going to get hit 27 times in that game, and yet they might win. The Chiefs just have to go out on Sunday and function. They need to just be awake, play football. Here's a stat that I threw this out on my podcast over on OnlyFans. Just kidding, Patreon. But don't search for me on OnlyFans. A, you'll find nothing, and B, what you will find is got to be just terrible. So I was doing this research. NFL Pro is an awesome.
It is good, yeah.
Right, it's the only thing I'll use for I'll give the nerds credit for that. It's good.
Fine.
So this is kind of obvious, but also fairly jarring. So Mahomes, when he throws under 2.5 seconds, is this is bad job. I mean, I'll filibuster here while I talk. So they give you this breakdown of under and over 2.5 seconds, like how effective you are. And there's a million other breakdowns they do too. But like, so for Mahomes this year, when he has had throws coming out under 2.5 seconds, he's completing 74% of them. His EPA is 15.2, and he's not been sacked one time when he's been. Now, obviously, part of it, he's getting rid of the ball so fast.
Right. Yeah.
Denver has 46 sacks this year. On throws that have come under 2.5 seconds, they have 1 sack. Now, obviously, again, like, no shit, the faster you get rid of the ball. But my point is, if they get rid of the ball in 2.5 seconds, you're basically eliminating their pass rush.
Yeah.
And I understand that, hey, look, then you're going to have to beat, the corners quicker, and you're going to have to win faster. But I got to tell you, if you're the Chiefs, I think that's the bet you make in the game. And so I went into detail like crazy there too. But I think, in this game, like, Denver's pass rush is crazy. But if Surtain's not playing, it's not exactly like this. The corners aren't overwhelming if Surtain isn't there. They're good. Like, Riley Moss is good, but he's not Surtain. And if I'm the Chiefs, I'm like, cool. Like, I feel good against Rashee Rice against any of these dudes.
Yeah.
I don't care. Meanwhile, by the way, we're talking about Bo Nix.
Oh, yeah.
Bo Nix has some interesting splits. Bo Nix is worse when you don't blitz him, which is kind of shocking. When you blitz him, his EPA is 10.8. When you don't blitz, it's negative 10.9. Like, when you blitz, he has 6 touchdowns and a pick. And when you don't blitz, he has 12 touchdowns and 7 picks. He's also horrific against zone coverage. Like, just cannot discern what the hell he's doing against his own zone look.
Right.
Also, I went back and looked at this, and I'm gonna put this into your chat so you can see this while we're doing this. Look at Bo Nix. For anyone who can't see this, Bo Nix, his passing chart, the dots chart against the Raiders,
right,
is one of the most hilarious charts you'll ever look at in your life. So
hang on, I gotta sign in.
Oh, you got time. Yeah. So he threw 28 passes in the game. And if we're talking about the right side of the field being right of the hash marks, and in most cases, like pretty far right of the hash marks, he completed 16 passes, 12 of them were to the right side of the field, and 10 of them were either behind the line of scrimmage to the right side of the field or within 7 yards of the line of scrimmage. So, like, basically put 9 guys just in the flat on the right-hand side, and you have a winner. Like, he just wouldn't throw it anywhere but the right side of the field the entire game.
No.
And it's like, that's probably not great. Just I don't know, just odd, man. Like, the whole thing with him, and like, this is not like, okay, so normally he doesn't sort of the right side of the field, but like, you look at his passing charts, everything's just under 10 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And, it caught my attention. I was like, huh. So I wonder, like, when he throws deep, how does that go for him? Well, let me tell you how it goes for him. When he throws over 20 yards in the air, he's 11 of 42. But here's what's really, because like, here's what really stands out. Intermediate, whereas Mahomes, by the way, has been cooking like nobody's business this year. Like, his number outrageous. 10 to 19 air yards. Bo Nix is 31 of 66 for a 47% completion rate. He has a negative 8.9 completion over expected, which is rancid. And oh, by the way, 4 touchdowns and 5 picks. Kansas City should be putting 11 guys inside that 0 to 9 yard area. Please try to throw it over our heads.
Mm-hmm.
Please. But in any event, it's a little preview there. But we all saw what happened Thursday night. Now it's an affront to both the Lord and the sport.
Yeah, there are some times where I will think about that game. There's sometimes that have happened, and I just will laugh to myself because it's like, what was that? Like, what was that football game that we watched? And people are trying to convince themselves that Bo Nix is a quarterback, and I think that I'm not even going to say good quarterback. They're trying to convince themselves that he is a quarterback, and he's not. Like, he's not fun to watch. There's been nothing good, and I think you brought up a phenomenal point on our show on Friday. As you can tell, like, the fans are booing them mercilessly. when their offense is on the field. Like that is an indicator that things are not going okay in Denver, even though their record says 8-2. As much as everyone wants to say in my responses to the ass list of, oh well, this team is 8-2 and that team is 5-4, so how come they're there? It's like, watch the games.
Yes,
it's really what it comes down to, is watch these teams play football, and you can tell how good these teams are.
Any human being who tweets that Bo Nix is good, I blocked him on Twitter.
You should.
You can't have that in your life. Like, well, he threw 4 touchdowns against the Bengals. Great. Adjusted for Bengals, that's like 1 touchdown.
Right.
Okay. Like AFB, adjusted for Bengals.
Right.
AFJ is more prevalent, but every once in a while. Like,
for sure. Lesser known stat. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
More analytical. I don't care if he threw 4 touchdowns against. So, like, if you look at his numbers this year, here's all you need to know about Bo Nix. This is going to sound like I'm joking, but I'm dead serious. So, his game log this season, the 2 worst defenses in the league and maybe of human history are the Bengals and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And in those 2 games, he threw for 326 and 247 with 6 touchdowns and somehow 2 picks. Okay. The rest of the year, in the other 8 games he's played in, he's thrown 12 touchdowns. Like, who gives a shit? I don't care. Like, he had a 3-week stretch where he didn't. I see. He had a 3-week stretch between the Indy game, which fair enough, the Bengals and the Cowboys. 9 of his 18 touchdowns. Like, 6 of them came against Cincinnati and Dallas. So other than that, great, awesome. You've thrown 12 touchdowns in 8 games. Great. Fantastic. Oh, cool. And also, by the way, in 8 games, not including those 2 bozo teams, he has gone for 7.2 yards per attempt or less in 7 of the other 8 games. That's impossible.
Right.
So, yeah, that's yeah. The next time somebody's like, well, Bo Nix really is just John Elway, just in a different era. Know that person is not well and call a hotline. That would be my advice.
We might,
up to you.
If the Chiefs do lose that game, there's a chance that we have a live aneurysm on the podcast. Like there is no, and I know how this is what I'm gonna say and like how it's gonna come off. There's no reason that the Chiefs should lose this team. There's no reason the Chiefs should lose to the Broncos other than they just do the same game plan that they do week 3 of the preseason that they did against the Bills too. That they recycled that game plan. But this year's been so fucking insane.
Never lose to the Bills, and then
I know.
Bang. Look, I agree with you in theory. Like the Broncos have a great pass rush.
Yeah.
The rest of that team, like defensively, the rest of the defense is good, but it's not like, oh my God, especially if Surtain's not playing.
Right.
The offense is a disaster.
It's so bad.
This game is going to be like 21-18 with like 5 minutes left. And I just prepared myself for Bo Nix just charging down the field in the 4th quarter and the Chiefs needing like Chamari Connor to make a play in the slot. Like I was just prepared. Like in a normal world, the Chiefs would just go out and beat this team like 27-10.
Right.
And who knows? Like that's the thing though. That's the thing about this team. You never know. If you said to me that the Chiefs do beat them 27-10, I'd be like, yeah, I can believe that. And if you said to me the Chiefs will lose this game 20-17 because they just vomit all over themselves before, I'd be like, I said that. Like, but this is the division, in my opinion, because if they lose this game, they're toast.
Yeah.
If they win this game, I have no reason to believe they're not going to win at home against Denver on a short week in prime time. Like, I have no reason. That'll be like one of the 3 games to actually get up for this entire season. So, like, I think they'll win the division. If they win this game, I think they'll win the division. If they lose this game, I think they're completely cooked. And at that point, like, they might make the playoffs, but they're fighting for a wild card. Which is ridiculous. How this team is as talented as it is fighting for a wild card is just gross. But that's what happens when you don't even try to beat the Bills. At least your game plan appears that way. And you somehow lose to Jacksonville, who, by the way, I was been close on that note. Nice game by Jacksonville today.
They let Davis Mills dice them up in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
How did the Chiefs lose to that team? Every time I watch the Jacksonville Jaguars play football, it infuriates me because the Chiefs lost to them. Obviously, I know Mahomes threw a 99-yard pick six and they had 13 penalties, and like that's really how they lost, right? It is so frustrating to watch the Jags go on and play football because they are who we thought they were, man. Remember the week leading up to that game, you and I were like, they haven't played anybody. They've nearly lost to literally everyone they've played, and they're not good. They're not good. And then the Chiefs go out and lose to them, which that's happened a few times this year, actually, now that I think about it, that we've spent a whole week talking about how the Chiefs should obliterate teams and teams are not good, and then the Chiefs lose to them.
Yeah, it's been fine.
Yeah, so like this year is so fucking weird, dude. Like it's so much weirder than in years past. I don't know what's going on. Like I don't know if it's the kicking balls or if it's the new kickoff rule adjusting. I don't know if that's what it is at all, but this year has been so weird, and the Jags I think are a prime example of why it's so weird.
Jacksonville is up 29-10.
Yeah.
Playing against, as you said earlier, against Davis Mills. And not only, by the way, did they win the game, Houston, they're favored by 1.5 in that game, and they were up 30-29 on the last play of the game.
Uh-huh.
And Houston picked up a fumble and ran it back for a touchdown.
It was a pick. It never hit the ground.
That's obviously, you're right. It was a pick. You're right. Mm-hmm. You're right. It was a pick, and they ran it back for a touchdown. So they covered. Because good teams win, but great teams cover. And Houston is clearly a great team.
That last drive was actually so comical because they kick off, right? And I'm like, what the fuck is Houston doing? They let them get to like the run. They run it back up because they only need like 10 yards at that point to get into field goal range for Cam Little. So I'm like, oh, of course Jacksonville's going to go down and they're going to hit a field goal. So I was explaining to Tara, I was like, all right, they got a young kicker who's got real big legs, so they don't have to go very far. And she's like, how do you determine field goal range? And I was like, well, your kicker, how far your kicker can kick it. She's like, well, then you have to tell the ref where your field goal range is. I was like, no, like that doesn't have to. Field goal range is arbitrary. Like it doesn't. It's not like necessarily a set spot. And she's like, okay, so I had to explain what field goal range was. And I was like, well, this guy only basically needs him to get to the 50-yard line. And then they put up like the target field goal line. I was like, see, you only got to get to like the 50. And then the first play Trevor Lawrence took that sack. And it was just, he just got smoked. And then you had the interception at the end of the game. They just could not get out of their way. They had a penalty, I think, in there as well. A hands to the face penalty that backed them up after they did have one really big play. Then they had illegal hands to the face, and then it was the pick right after that. Just a brutal ending. That final drive was actually so hilarious. And if you go and you look at I'm on NFL.com looking at kind of the scoring drive recap. The fourth quarter of just being 4 Texans touchdowns is hilarious. Of it just being 17 plays, 65 yards, touchdown. 8 plays, 51 yards, touchdown. 18 plays, 80 yards, touchdown. 7 plays, 9 yards, touchdown. To end the game.
And let's not overlook what Jacksonville's drive chart looked like in the fourth quarter of that game.
It's great point.
Which was 3 plays, -4 yards, punt. 3 plays, 6 yards, punt. 3 plays, -yard, punt.
And then
they had 1 yard on 3 drives.
Oh, yeah.
And Houston had, 65 and 51. Thank God for a calculator on the computer. And 80. 93. So Houston outgained them 209-1 in the fourth quarter. Well done by Jacksonville. Just well executed there. Like, kneel on it 3 times and just, my God, man. How do you screw that up to that extent? Like, just, and then, like, also, too, like, the punts were the punt was 42 yards their first punt.
It's just dog shit punts.
Yeah. The second punt was 42 yards. Come on. Do anything.
Not a real football team, man.
Yeah, no, they that team, like, everybody's like, well, they're in the playoff spot right now. It's nice. The 7 spots should be just like filled in by like an egg avatar.
Right.
Yeah, it was really
Vacant.
because it's not Jacksonville.
Yeah, it's definitely not. I mean, they do have the same record as the Chiefs right now, 5-4.
Who they beat
have that dead.
It just defies the Chiefs. Oh my God, the Chiefs this year, they're going to give me a mental breakdown.
Why do you think that? I've got two questions for you before we end this podcast, Matt. Why do you think this year has had so much parity in it?
I don't know that there's like a reason. I just think it's one of these years where the team, like the best team, so to speak, like the blue bloods, if you will.
There you go.
The Eagles had an odd start to the year. The Chiefs were hurt at the beginning of the year and or suspended because they can't drive cars legally. And then just it's the same. I mean, let's be real. That's a big part of why the Chiefs are sitting where they're sitting.
Yeah.
You know, the Bills, they did the 2023 Chiefs thing where they were like, add somebody, please. We have Keon Coleman and Curtis Samuel. We're fine, okay?
Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney are 1 and 2. We're fine. We're good.
Right. And then the Texans were like, our offensive line's great. We have Laken Tomlinson. Don't worry about it. So, like, I think a lot of these teams at the top just got complacent with their rosters. The Chiefs, to their credit, I don't know that they got complacent. I think it was just more of like Worthy got hurt, Rice was suspended, and it was a disaster.
Yeah.
But like a lot of injuries, you know, around the league this year, it feels like as well.
True.
You know, Baltimore had a bunch of injuries at the start of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's like a combination of things. But I don't think there's any like one, like, I think it's just an outlier. I don't think it's just going to be like the new normal in the NFL. Right. I think it's just one of these like weird years.
Yeah. Last question I have for you. Was this a good bye week for the Chiefs?
Like in terms of like
results?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the Bills lost, Jacksonville lost. I mean, Denver won, but they lost. Like we all saw that. I mean, that was like, the whole country bear witness to that.
Denver and LA both win, so like that's kind of a bummer. But like other than that,
they both won. But again, like I don't really. If you're the Chiefs, just win your divisional games.
Yeah,
I'm like it doesn't. Like the Chiefs are oddly in a spot. Like no, listen, I'm not saying they're going to do this, but if the Chiefs were to find a way to get their act together and actually win out, which I honestly think if they win the next two games, they like almost should.
Right, yeah.
They will, but they like certainly could. They would own the tiebreaker on the Colts because they would have beaten them.
Mm-hmm. They
will win the division if they're 13-4. Like right. That's going to happen because they'd also own the tiebreaker on Denver. Like they'll win the division. They would also own the tiebreaker on New England because they have a better conference record. So, if they went out, like they're probably the 1 seed. And I'm not saying they're going to do that because 8 games and these next 2 games are really tough. And like, you'd be a moron to sit here and be like, no, I just think this 5-4 team's just going to rip off 8 straight wins.
Right. Yeah.
But I feel like you'd also equally be a moron if you were like, oh no, there's no way this team could do that. Like they've had 8 games. I mean, how many times in Andy Reid's tenure that team won 8 straight games? It's got to be almost like every other season, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, in 2023, I know they did it because they started 9-0.
Mm-hmm. And
then in 2014, I highly doubt they did it. 2015, they won 10 in a row to end the season.
Right.
You know, like so they did it that year. 2016, they won 8 of 9. 2017 was the last year without Mahomes. I thought that year. 2018, they won 9 of their first 10. 2019, they didn't do it because Mahomes got hurt in the middle of the year. And then obviously 2020, they did it 15-1. Or 14-2, they lost the last game, didn't matter. They did it in 2020, they did it in 2021. They won 10 of 11 in 2022. The 2023 team had a 6-game win streak. Okay, which I don't know. And then last year they were 9-0. Like with Mahomes, they are more likely than not to have an 8-game win streak at some point in the season. So, like, look, maybe they don't do it. But if they win their next 2 games, tell me the game that you're like, yeah, they're going to lose that game.
Right.
So we'll see. But these next 2 are massive. But yeah, I think the bye week overall for the Chiefs, not the worst thing that's ever happened.
No. I think it was a good one. I mean, the division results, like, you obviously would have liked the Chargers to lose, but the Packers are just, the Steelers are just really bad.
Yeah, they're not good. I also appreciate the Raiders' commitment to their bid, by the way.
Yeah.
The Raiders are just like, everybody thought we were going to revamp and rebuild. Guess what?
Said nope.
Not on our watch, boys.
Geno, I need more Geno picks in my life. I like the Sosa McGuire aspect of it.
I'm telling you,
I'll make the graphic.
You know what? I'm going to take up the cost. I'm going to start tweeting it out.
You should.
Every time there's a pick thrown by one of those 2 clowns, like, I'm just going to throw it up there. But the NFL has got to step up here. We need a Sosa McGuire-esque out-of-town scoreboard tracker. And I want it in, like, the Cleveland-Tennessee game we were talking about earlier. When everyone's getting ready to just throw themselves into Lake Erie. And then Tua just throws some asinine pick against Cincinnati and everything. Oh, my God, it's his 17th of the year. Like, it's just chaos. Like, people are going berserk because they're gambling on it. Like,
right.
I'm all in. Like, and then, like, somebody else might, like, if you remember that year, oh, God, there was somebody else who got like 1 billion home runs that year, but no one even remembers. I'd have to look back. But, like, maybe there's, like, a hard-charging third candidate. You know, like an independent candidate coming into the presidential race. You're like the Ross Perot of the NFL.
The Ross Perot,
yeah. That's right. Who, like, for, like, 5 minutes, people thought 92 could, like, win the election. Like, maybe, you know, maybe there's, like, let's see, I'll look up real quick who that person could be. But, like, maybe we get, like, a third candidate in there who's hilarious. So, like, Geno's leading the way but then, actually, here, you know what? Here we go. So it's like, by God, that's Bo Nix's music. Like, just 3 picks. You're like, oh, my God, he's winning.
He's back in it. He's back in it.
And, like, everybody's watching, like, when they play some bullshit Monday night game that, like, otherwise nobody would care about. But, like, he launches one into traffic and just batted up in the air. And Joe Buck, like, of course, Jack Buck called, like, all those McGuire home runs.
Right.
So Joe Buck is, like, obscenely into this. He's like, up in the air, 15, it's 15. Like, it's just, like, Aikman's going crazy up in the booth. Like, that's the kind of thing we need in the season filled with parity. Give me a Tua Geno can't stink anymore off.
Yeah.
And we just have like an out-of-town scoreboard going, and then Knicks gets close enough that like we start getting like a 3-way battle. Like DraftKings is like, he's plus 500 to do it. Like we need that. That's what we need. I'm all in.
I just looked it up. King Griffey finished 3rd in 98. And I think it was King Griffey that was with him a little bit, and then it obviously tapered off because he wasn't hitting the roids as hard as McGuire and Sosa. But
right. He didn't want it bad enough.
No, he did. So some people wish for it. They work for it, man. I tell you what.
Some people have androids just pouring out of their eyelids. And Griffey, you know, didn't have the heart of a champion. Only hit 56 that year because he would jam 18 B12 shots into his ass cheek. And here we are.
Who's this Vaughn fella that was 4th? Greg Vaughn.
Oh, yeah, man, could hit.
Yeah, he could. 4-time All-Star Silver Slugger. Well, a ton of teams. I mean,
yeah, a lot of teams.
Holy cow. Hired gun, as far as I'm concerned.
Greg Vaughn was I always think of him as like the Brewers and the Padres. But most of his career at those teams, but then it was like he caught a couple of years with Tampa, had a random 45 home run year with Cincinnati.
I'm sure there was no external factors in that one.
No. Yeah, his whole career he was hitting like 23, 19. Then how do you feel about 41 in 1996? Nothing happened. It's like, you know, it's kind of like, man, like it's kind of like those like pop stars in the 80s who all of a sudden like they were just like regular people, and then all of a sudden they were just running down the street at 25 miles an hour, like just eyes wide open and slept in 4 days. Like, no, nothing to see here. It's fine. Where'd he come from? Oh, Studio 54. Oh, he's good.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, nothing. Good. Fine. Just excited. It's Tuesday.
Crazy. All right. Well, we'll be back on Friday. Preview Chiefs and Broncos a little bit more. Go a little bit deeper into a Monday night game. Packers, Eagles, right? Is that what the Monday night game is?
I'll cover the game. I'm in person for that one. Cover the game for us.
Matt will be there. Follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderame. Let me double check the podcast reviews real quick before we sign off here. Maybe Matt, I should get you on so we can do some Sporkle quizzes.
Yeah, we got to figure that out this week.
Yep.
Trying to think what day.
I have a Sporkle
winner.
Okay. I'm good Tuesday. I have a Sporkle quiz pulled up right now. It's NFL passing leaders bonanza that I was doing Sporkle before you hopped on. Can you name the QBs who are the all-time leaders in these categories? And it's 45,000 plus passing yards. It's 350 plus passing touchdowns, 40 plus game-winning drives, 250 interceptions. I'll send you the link. But there's a lot of them on here, and there's a receiving one as well.
I'll tell you right now, if I don't get every single one of them, I'll be disappointed in myself.
We only have 6 minutes. It's a quick timer. But I think if you enter your name for one quarterback, it fills in all the other spots that they are, right? So I think if you just start spraying and praying of just all of the usual suspects, you should probably get there.
I am a major history freak, so if I can't do it, I'm going to be pissed. I get very annoyed. There's one guy that I forget.
Fair. I've been doing a lot of the 2010 stuff because the 2020s is kind of my sweet spot of the of what I know. I keep fucking forgetting that Ryan Tannehill played for the Dolphins.
See, that's where we'd be good because I'm actually better with stuff from way back. Because studied so long, in 2010s, I'm who the GEHA? Who? What?
Buddy, that is my money. That is my money right there.
God, who the fuck? That, are you kidding? That guy was a person,
right?
I just forget. I have no idea.
But he was born. He was born in London. I'm pretty sure.
Sure.
GEHA was. I used to, when I played fantasy, people would. I drafted him one year. And I could not pronounce his name, Ajayi. I just get saying a JG or whatever. You cannot draft him because you cannot pronounce his name. The whole TJ Houshmandzadeh type of deal. I think I've already read this one about. Maybe I haven't read this one. This was 2 days ago. We wouldn't have recorded a podcast 2 days ago.
Oh.
Great shows. This is from Read Your Keys. Great shows. All the shows do a great job of blending informative analysis and commentary with fun. No one takes themselves too seriously, and all the shows really work. Nate takes it a bit too far with the voices and the frequency in which he does it, but overall, great network, great content. Tucker and Matt are my goats. Appreciate it.
Oh.
Read Your Keys. That's right. Just here's what we need to do. We need you to leave comments on obviously the YouTube video, leave your 5-star rating and reviews on Spotify, Apple Podcast, but then just tell in your reviews. Tell in your review, say how much better we are than every other show on the network. You need to say that we are so much better than Only Weird Games and the Lab. We need you guys to do that for us. In the comment section of the YouTube video, say, wow, I love this show. It's so much better than the Lab and Only Weird Games. And I will screenshot them and be like, wow, we didn't even tell these guys to say this. And they're saying it. We're trying to start more beefs, and they will not reciprocate the beef with us, Matt.
We'll get them.
We will. And that's why we're bringing the people into it, right? We're bringing the people into it to kind of help us start beef.
We'll piss them off. It'd be fine.
That's good.
Maybe I'll just show up one day when they're doing Only Weird Games and just demand to be four box thing, and I'll just call them all hateful things and then just sign off.
Well, see, here's a secret weapon. Is I'll be on we can do it. It's an inside job at that point,
right? Yeah, you can just bring me up. Don't even tell them.
Right. Just
and they'll say, nice Substack keys, and then just start calling her. I got a bone to pick with this, and then just start screaming at him, and just go off the air before you say anything back to me.
That's perfect. All right, so be on the lookout for our That Football Show airing on Friday. Will be a deeper preview into Broncos, Chiefs. Matt, I mean, we'll get you on. We'll do some Sporkle for like an hour, thinking of all of the things that we can think of on the Sporkle. We'll dig deep there, but on the KCSN Live, it'll be live at noon to 1 is usually what we're doing there from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll make sure to promote it as well. So for Matt Verderame, I'm Tucker Franklin. Thank you for listening all the way to the end of That Football Show. Thank you to our sponsors, Ben Holiday Bottled and Bond Bourbon and Holiday Distillery. We love those folks there. We'll be back on Friday, so we will talk to you then. Chiefs.